All right, hi, welcome back to the Big Kids Podcast. I'm your co-host D Money, and this is
Julia.
and we've had a pretty busy weekend, I'd say. Well, you more so than I. We went to Nando's recently. Pretty stuffed from that. Cheeky Nando's. For those of you that don't know, it's a peri peri place. It's it's like Porto's that we mentioned before. It's a Portuguese food place, and it's pretty good. I like Porto's better personally, but Nando's it's a close second, considering I only know two peri peri places.
I like Nando's. They're really nice. I like the feel of
I
it.
like Nando's.
I like places that are more busy on the inside because it feels more lively. And I think their branding is just better because they've got like fun music in the background, and it's like the restaurant is much more like I think thought out with the decorations and stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of a cheesy kind of looking in there, but I like it.
Yeah, Porto's is it's pretty plain. It's like a regular restaurant, and like Nando's definitely has like a more I don't want to say island feel to it, but it's got like more of a.
It's got a theme.
It's got a theme for sure. It feels islandy to me personally, but yeah, it definitely feels like more centered around the culture in which the food is originated from. You know, we usually just stick to the chicken wings there.
Yeah.
I think we've deviated once from chicken wings.
And I did not like it.
Yeah, it was a rice bowl with green peppers and red peppers, right? That's basically
Yeah.
what it was. Not very like crazy. But at Nando's, there's these annoying ladies that were sitting right next to us.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They like sat down, but like before they sat down, they had to like bump into you a little bit first.
Yeah. So we were sitting at like a half booth, like the other like half of the table was connected to a booth, the other side was just a chair. And it was like one of those big long booths where they have like a bunch of tables lined up on it. And this lady goes in between her table and our table and just like plops down on the booth right next to me. Or like on the seat right next to me in between our tables. And I like go flying. Like she pushed so much air through that like seat. I went poof. You know, and then all she said was like, sorry. You know, and then like she was with her mom and her sister, I think was what was going on. And like, what's it called? Her mom goes and gets them drinks, and this lady's like shittily carrying 3 glass cups that she can barely hold empty. She goes to fill them up, and she takes the longest time ever. And there's just some guy on his phone behind her, on like by the soda fountain, and he's just on his phone minding his own business. And this lady comes back pissed with like 2 glasses of like Diet Coke after yelling across the restaurant, "Hey, Diet Coke cool for you?" to her daughter. You know, like, I don't know why you wouldn't ask what they wanted beforehand. But yeah, she was being really obnoxious, and this guy's just standing behind her. She comes back, and she's like, I had to leave after just filling 2 drinks. This guy was on my ass the whole time, and he's just, like, casually filling up his soda after she, like, left mad. You know, and then, the worst thing for me at restaurants is when people don't realize that while we are in a public place, you know, keep your conversation to yourself. Because the moment we got our wings, this lady looks over, the fucking mom who was mad about her soda or whatever.
She's like, those look good.
She looks over and she's like, those look so good.
And it made me like not want to touch them.
Yeah, because I was like, well, thanks for ruining my experience now, lady. Like eating the wings right after she's like, those look so good. Like, it's just awkward.
Yeah, so weird.
Like why would you say that? Like, lady, you're like literally in a corner with us. It's just like the 5 of us in a corner, and you decide to be like, that looks so good.
Like, did you want the plate? Here, take it. We're gonna leave.
Yeah, we're actually, these are for you guys. We ordered these for you before knowing you were gonna come.
Yeah, you said you liked them so much, and we thought we should give them to. Maybe
we should give them to someone who appreciates them more than we would.
Yeah, we don't think. Yeah,
we're not deserving.
We didn't right away say that like you did.
We might be used to it, but because you give it that appreciation it deserves, you should have our food. And like the whole time, these ladies were like, "Oh, do you think it's gonna come out good? Do you think it's good? I don't know. I've never been here. This and this." And the way Nando's works is, you get like a little chicken stick, like it's a stick with a chicken at the end of it. You go sit down. You put it at your table.
And then we should clarify. It's a little wooden chicken. It's not.
Yeah, they don't just give you chicken strips at like the moment you walk in. But yeah, you go sit at your table with a number. So ours was number 12. Theirs was number 13. I'm assuming 14. And you then after you find out what you want to order, you order at the cash register, and then they bring you the food. So they don't have actual servers. They don't have actual like, like. Well, I guess that's it. Just servers,
No
right?
one will take your order like at your table. Like you just get to decide when you want to go up, and you can get your stuff.
Yeah. So then they'll have someone bring you the food. Obviously, they'll have like a runner bring it to you because you can't just go to the kitchen and get it yourself. But you're supposed to wait for them to bring it to you. But that's all they do. That's all they should do. They just bring you the food and that's that. Or if you ask them a question, obviously they're gonna help you with that. They're not gonna be like, "What the fuck, a question? Go to the front." For the most part, like every worker I've ever seen there is really nice. But these ladies, oh my god, they're so obnoxious and stupid. Like so the way Nando's works is you can order your food with sauces, or they have like the bottles like of sauces right by the forks and all that. And you could just get a bottle and put as much sauce as you want, as little sauce as you want, or none at all, depending on how you want it. And you can mix and match sauces. So like that's a normal thing people do. So we grabbed 2 bottles of sauce, 2 different flavors, and then we just had them buy our wings. And then these ladies keep on overreaching and stuff and looking at our shit. And there's a lady who comes by asking if everything's okay, if we need help with anything. We obviously tell her we're good because we know what's going on. But they're like, "I'm sorry, we've never been here before. Where the fuck do you get those sauces?" Pointing at our fucking table and shit, making me feel more awkward. And then the lady's like, "Oh, you just get them over there at the front." And she's like, "Okay, can you bring us a couple?"
Yeah,
I'm
and then
like,
she's like, "Well, I don't know what you want."
yeah. The lady's like, "Well, what
That's
do you
why
want?"
it's there for people to take, because that way you can choose exactly what, like, you have your options. That way you don't have these 6 bottles at your table that maybe somebody else wants a
Yeah,
sauce.
they're not the biggest fucking tables either. And considering these like people were like really stupid and like they looked like a bunch of people who would like have bob haircuts at some point in their lifetime and like really like blonde highlights
And
and
have asked for managers.
yeah. So I'm sure this late the runner knew what was going on. She's just like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" And they're just like, "Surprise us." Like, what the fuck does surprise us mean? The fuck is a surprise us? Here's some extra hot sauce.
Right?
Like, what the fuck? They just like, just bring us whatever, just surprise us. And the lady brings them like 7 different fucking bottles and like, "Oh, we didn't need that much." And it's like, well, there's your surprise, bitch. Like,
Oh my god. That's so annoying. Because when they're asking somebody to do something for them and then they do it wrong without them giving any instruction. Well,
like
obviously,
what was the runner supposed to
don't
do?
make that comment, dude. Like that runner did not need that comment.
Yeah, surprise us. Go out of your way to do something for us, and then what's it called? When you come back, we'll critique you on it as if like it's their problem, as if they were always at the soda fountain anyways, which is right where the sauce bottles were. It's like you guys couldn't easily have looked over and gotten them. They were right next to the fucking straws for your sodas and shit. You couldn't have seen that and just gotten them yourselves. And then the lady, she constantly asked them. She's like, "Oh, do you guys like the spicy ones? If you don't like the spicy ones, we can take it. I can take it back. This and this." And they're like, "No, leave it, leave it." And then like the whole time, like I heard them a couple of times. They were like, "Oh, like I don't like the spicy ones. I don't want this. I just don't want this." Then they ordered something to go, and the runner was just like, to make it completely easy for them. She's like, "Oh, you guys don't actually have to go to the front. Like I just take your order here. We'll just charge you on the card you used, and we'll just bring it to you, so you guys don't have to actually get up." And one of their party members was already at the line, and this other lady, her daughter, I guess, goes like running through the restaurant, almost bumping into a bunch of people with food to go stop the lady, as if the worst thing in the world was for them to not be able to order their food sitting down. Like the lady was you could see her. She was already at the register about to order. So it's like at that point, just let her order, whatever.
Yeah, like why wouldn't she, if she's already there, just let her.
Why come back and order there when you're already ordering? They just stopped ordering and then they came back, had the runner take the order, and then just sat there. Like you would have saved so much time had you not fucking did that, And it's like, why like almost bump into someone else's fucking food? Have someone from the restaurant clean it up, and then have to bring out a whole new order of food because they got bumped into it. Like why go through all that trouble for a sandwich? And the whole time they're like, "Oh, it's okay, I guess it's not crazy good." They're just like ridiculing the restaurant and shit. And it's like, bro, why are you guys like this? And it's like there's just so annoying nosy customers who like never be satisfied, and they're just like so ignorant to everyone else around them.
Yeah, they were annoying. They weren't fun.
But the good news was that we did get cream soda.
Yes, we had a little bit of an adventure. We were really craving cream soda. The first time I had cream soda was a few weeks ago, and I had never tasted it before, and it's probably my favorite soda now. It's really good. So yeah, we're probably gonna go one day to Target or just go on a cream soda mission. Just find all the good cream sodas, especially that vanilla. That just tastes like ice cream soda form.
When you start talking about the cream soda, it reminds me of like a fifth grader giving their, like telling their class for like a after summer icebreaker, like the first day of school. They're like, yeah, what's your favorite drink? And they're just like, I like cream soda. It's like really good, and it's my favorite, and it's really good, and I tried it a little bit ago, and it's really good, you know. But yeah, we both first tried it before, like at 2 months ago when we went to Nando's.
I thought you had cream soda before that.
Yeah, but it was like root beer cream soda.
That's not. Root beer isn't good. That's different.
Which is weird because like you really like Dr. Pepper. We were talking about this earlier. And
Dr. Pepper is much different.
It's a spiced root beer. Like that's like the whole thing with Dr. Pepper. It's a spiced root beer basically.
But I don't like root beer. But Dr. Pepper is completely different. It's really
just
good.
Add cinnamon to root beer.
No, like Dr. Pepper is like whatever how many flavors just mixed together all in one. Apparently, it doesn't taste like that. To me, it doesn't taste like that. It just tastes like its own thing.
Apparently, I really like Dr. Pepper, and apparently, I've never been on national TV before. What's it called? I think I've talked to you about this before. I've told you this. Whereas like little kids, you think like root beer and all that shit is like actual beer. And I saw a Vine about this.
Well, okay, but once we start having like root beer floats, like green and Irish, like what do you call it, St. Patrick's Day, once we start having root beer floats at school, obviously it's not beer.
Well, okay, but like I don't know about you, but I didn't go to the school dances very often
No, that wasn't school dances. That was just literally on the day. Class regular scheduled like class stuff.
Our regular scheduled root beer float party
set aside to have some root beer, or like just like the first half of the day would have been like a little party.
Root beer float class.
Oh my god, can we talk about school and how good the themed like parties were? Like all year I looked forward to the Halloween party, and like by party I mean like not the dances. I'm talking about like the classroom,
the whole school-wide classroom parties. Where yeah. It's like from like 1 to 3:15 when you'd get out, that's when the party would be.
No, like it'd be all day. Well, we'd be in our costumes for a little bit, and then at the end of the day, there'd be music, there'd be all these snacks, chips, there'd be like activities to do. We would just chill in our costumes, and we all looked epic.
Bro, I remember one year. It was like when I was in like 3rd grade. So it was like how old would you be in 3rd grade? 9 years old. This was 11 years ago. My mom just completely forgot Halloween existed. And she's like, oh shit, I gotta get you guys costumes. This was like the night before Halloween, right? And like, we weren't like, I didn't really care about it. But my mom...
If you didn't go to school with a costume...
You were a loser.
Yeah, you're a loser.
That's loser shit, dog.
Yeah, no, why would you do that?
But my mom completely forgot about it because she was just like busy with work and stuff. And like, she was taking care of So this was when she babysat 2 other kids. She was taking care of 5 kids. So me, my 2 siblings, and then these 2 other kids who were even younger than my youngest sister, which at that point was 6, something like that. So there was another 3-year-old kid and a 5-year-old kid, that she was taking care of. So she had a lot on her plate. So I can fully see why she forgot about a holiday that doesn't really matter. But yeah,
hey,
dude, that's so loud. What's it called? But yeah, so she's like, oh shit, let's just like look at through your old costumes and see what's going on there. And I could not fit into my Power Rangers costume from 2nd grade. That was like a tiny little baby costume, and I was like a big fat kid at that point in 3rd grade. So she's like, you know what? Dracula looks pretty fresh in a suit. So she just made me wear a suit and bought me vampire teeth at CVS. And she's like, this is pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. And my 3rd grade dumbass was like, bro, this is so sick. It's like so sick. And she's like, bro, we don't even need to use the dress shirt that came with the suit. use this turtleneck, and I wore a turtleneck under like a sports coat and like dress pants with like dress shoes, and people were like, "What are you?" I'm like, "I'm Dracula." And they're like, "Oh." That was the response the whole day. What
Oh
are
no.
you? Dracula. Oh. Every conversation, dude, what are you? Dracula. Oh. That's
But
that's how my like third grade Halloween party went.
that's so weird because right before Halloween every year, I remember it being like this huge thing. Like I'd beg my mom, like, "Oh, can I get this costume?" No, like you have to wear like a one from another year, and
You have to wear your younger, bigger sister's old costume or old
no, I was
friend.
bigger than them at the time, obviously.
I was a Goliath.
But yeah, we always had to wear like our last year's one or something.
Really, you guys had to like recycle.
And
them
I
for
would
a
be
couple
really,
years?
I'd be really sad. And
So
then those
would-
years that I got a new one, that was a
Would
happy
you
year.
buy costumes would be like really good for longevity? So like a mermaid costume.
No, I was a kid. I always got like a vampire. There was like vampire ones. Those were always cool. So I don't remember what else. I just like being a vampire, I think.
I was just cosplaying as a bat furry, and then people took it seriously as a vampire. So I was like, all right, well, might as well go with this then.
Okay.
Huh?
What are you
No.
gonna be for Halloween this year?
So last year I was a disappointment to my parents. I think I'm gonna keep that trend
Oh my
going.
god.
I think it's 20 years strong now.
Oh my god.
Keep it to 21 now. Up the ante. What's it called? I remember probably the best Halloween was 2 years ago when we took my sister trick or treating.
That was fun. Yeah.
We have the decoration still up. It's like right there behind us. But when we went trick or treating, 2 years ago, our first year in college, right? We took my sister to go trick or treating because she was like 6 at that point, 7, and she was like super hyped. She was a princess, I think, and she really wanted to go trick or treating, but no one was available.
No, she was a cat or something.
Oh yeah, a little
Like a
black cat.
pink and black. Yeah.
Yeah. This year she was a princess, but yeah, we took her trick or treating at a town close to us where we knew they would give better candies. And just because like no one else was gonna take her, my dad was working, my mom was working, my sister was out with her friends, so I was like, fuck it, might as well take her. And we took her, and she got a decent amount of candy, I'd say. But the biggest thing was that we went to some lady's house, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? We're just trying to get rid of all of our Halloween stuff. You want to spin a wheel?" And we were like, "Okay, whatever that means." And so she takes out a tiny little wheel, like on Wheel of Fortune, but like upright. She takes it, and then she puts it in front of my sister, and my sister spins it, and it comes out to like a skull. And she's like, "Ooh, you get a skull prize." And she takes out this tiny little tombstone garden decoration.
Tiny.
It wasn't like a huge one though. Like there was one of the smaller ones, But yeah, she takes out this like it was like like what 2 feet tall, like a foot wide.
No, 2 feet tall. No, it's like a foot tall.
All right, so it would fit in a 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot box for sure. But yeah, she gave her a Halloween decoration, and then she explains it. She's like, "Yeah, we're just trying to get rid of all this stuff. We don't really want."
She was
it.
also saying how like, oh, nobody ever comes to her house, so that's why she's like giving out such big prizes.
Yeah, we were like the only ones on this, like the whole, like in the whole like 4-block radius we went around. Like that place was dead. Also, usually around my street, it's dead.
That's so sad. Halloween is awesome.
Halloween is like dying down.
Maybe it just seems like it. I don't know.
Well, we live in a very like Catholic. What was it? Christian towns.
Why do you say that?
Because we do.
Is that true?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's pretty heavy with like.
I'd say it's
Christians.
about the same as any other
Catholics.
place.
No, I definitely don't think so. So, and because of that, I feel like a lot of people are like, "Why would you celebrate the devil's holiday? This and this Halloween is for Satan."
I remember it being busy when I was a kid, on my block and surrounding blocks.
I feel like also just like not Halloween, like holidays are dying down themselves. Because like as a kid, I remember like, oh, Christmas would be like this super fun time. There'd always be something to do. It'd always be so fun. Halloween, not Hanukkah, Thanksgiving. Those things would always be filled with so much fun and shit. But it's like the older I got and the less stuff we celebrated in school, the less like it transferred to the house. So now like in middle school, we wouldn't really celebrate anything because like you wouldn't have parties in middle school. You don't even have recess anymore, believe it or not. And
wait, what? Oh, middle school.
Like, you didn't have recess in middle school? What
Okay,
the
middle
fuck?
school. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the older you got, the less important holidays actually were. And it's like, unless your family actually like religiously practiced those holidays, it wouldn't really mean anything to you. Just because like
The novelty kind of faded over the. It's so sad because
there's like a big
it was
disconnect.
every single holiday was such a big thing to me, and it was so much fun. It was just like a feeling that I don't think I'll ever have again, which makes me sad.
I mean, if I ever have kids in the future, I'd like to think that seeing them have fun at their school
would revive that.
Yeah, just like, because it's like, passing on a little light, a little torch. Like, I had fun these few like years that I was in your position. I hope you have fun. I'm gonna make sure you have fun. I'm not gonna force you to have fun, obviously, if you don't want to, but like, I'm gonna figure out a way for you to have fun.
Yeah, and like hopefully it's either revived or like not only just revived, but like it keeps going, like it's keeps going, and it doesn't really die out.
I feel like it's a cycle where like, you really love something like a holiday, you don't like really practice it as much anymore, and then like when you're older and you're able to give that holiday to someone else, it becomes fun again. So for me as a kid, obviously, it was really fun celebrating Halloween, celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, like 4th of July, all that, because like as a kid you're really dependent on your parents, and having like being able to do something on your own and celebrated, like just have fun on your own without them, that was crazy. So it's like a kid going around without your parents, just with your friends, being able to trick or treat. That's crazy because it's like a new sense of freedom. And when you're older and you have all this freedom, and like no, like it's not cool, quote unquote cool, to go out trick or treating, and you'd rather like people would just rather like hang out at a friend's house or something, and do on Halloween what you would do any other day. It just kind of diminished like the value of Halloween. And then when you're older and you're able to give like a younger sibling that fun, or you're able to do this or that for like a child of yours, I feel like that brings like a new like kind of like amusement for it. So when I would go trick or treating in middle school with my friends, it'd be like, like whatever. It wouldn't really be crazy. It wouldn't really be fun. It'd just be like we're just like forcing ourselves to do what we did like as really young kids and not cool teenagers, But then when me and you, now adults, took my sister out to go trick or treating, she was having a lot of fun. She was like really excited. She was really happy. She told me, like, she talked to me for like an hour or something that night, and she was having a lot of fun, which I already said, so fucking repetitive. But yeah, she really enjoyed it, and it's like that was really like, to me that was really rewarding, because 2 years before that, or a year before that, or was it the same year, we took her and your siblings to a haunted trail or something.
I don't remember, but
it was after our senior year, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, because your parents knew, or your mom at least knew, that we were going together with our siblings.
Oh yeah.
So it would have to been after high school. What's it called? Huh. Yeah, it was like a year ago. And my sister was really young. We took her on a scare walk.
Oh my god.
It was like, I were in her shoes, I'd be so embarrassed, because there's like nothing scary. It's just a bunch of like 10-year-olds in like shitty Halloween masks with like fake blood, and they look like skeletons or whatever.
Yeah, they're like pretending to stab each other.
You would walk down like a decently lit forest road, and like right by it, like a busy highway. Is Irving a highway?
It's not even by Irving though.
Was it not?
No.
It
was by Wooddale, but it wasn't even close to Wooddale.
Yeah, well, it was by a busy street.
We're gonna bleep that out.
It was by bleep. But yeah, no, it was by a street. It wasn't that crazy of a walk. It was maybe like a quarter of a mile walk, and you would all hold on to this rope, and the kids were surrounded by their like adult like caretakers, and there were these like really annoying people behind us that were like, "Oh no, that's so scary." The adults trying to like, these like really old people trying to like freak out their kids, but these are like 10-year-old kids that they were with. And they're like, can we get a muffin after this? Can we get a cupcake after this? Like, is that cool? I was dying the whole time, because there was like, you kids are like literally not enjoying this. You want a fucking cupcake after this? Because there was one of those like weird cupcake vendors that had like these specialty cupcakes, and they were like $5.
Weird.
Yeah, they were like $5 right outside of the entrance, and in line you could step out and just go get a cupcake. And I feel like that's what they wanted. But
obviously.
Yeah, my sister was just like tearing up the whole time. She had to stop for like a few seconds, and like the lady's like, no, it's okay. It's not real. It's not real.
Oh my god.
I was just telling her the whole time, like, bro, you wanted to do this, remember?
Yeah. And then she cried at the end.
Yeah,
I'm
and she's just hugging me the whole time, and I'm like, I felt bad for her, but it was really fucking funny.
like, I don't know.
Because you and I thought about this before we actually even asked our siblings, or you were going with your siblings regardless.
Like, is it too scary for her?
Yeah, we were talking about it, and like I asked her, I was like, hey, do you want to go on a scare walk? And she's like, oh my god, yeah. And like I feel like because she's only ever heard about them and she never actually took part in a scare walk, she's like, yeah, everyone does them, and I want, and like, you know, like that little kid mentality where it's like, I want to flex on my friends that I did this shit. You know, it's gonna be so cool when I tell them, and they don't even actually care about their own feelings. They just want to flex on their friends. And so like I feel like that's what was going on in her head, and she's just like, yeah, I heard about them. Oh my god, I so want to do one. And then I ask her, are you gonna be scared? Is this gonna be like really bad for you? Can you actually handle it? And she's like, yeah, I know I can so do it. I don't get scared, like even when I watch scary movies. And I'm like, well, you don't watch scary movies, so you can't really get scared, you know. She's like, no, I can do it. I swear, dude, I swear. And she's telling me she can do it. And I'm like, okay. We get there, maybe 2 minutes into the scare walk. She's like, she just starts wailing. And I'm just like so embarrassed. And your siblings even asked, like your sister, she was like, is she okay?
Really?
Is she all right? And your brother's like, hey, do you want a bag of chips? To my sister. And
really?
Yeah.
I remember him saying that he felt bad.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I went up to my sister and I'm like, bro, these guys are like 3 years older than you. And I felt so bad. But when we got home, like I told my family, we were all just laughing. And like I felt bad because I didn't want them to laugh at her. But like,
no, but like later she was like telling it like, oh my god, it was so cool. Like she was retelling it as if like
she was like, as if
she wasn't just crying the whole time.
She was just like calmly omitting the fact that she like shit her pants on the way there.
Yeah.
She almost peed.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know?
She told me. She's like, yeah, I almost peed my pants. Can we go home fast?
Oh my god. Because
she had to pee.
Oh, okay. I thought
it wasn't like she was that terrified. She pissed herself.
Okay.
No?
I was gonna say then she was genuinely scared there.
No, but she's like, yeah, like there was this one guy who came out of a bush and he almost scared me and I almost peed. But I guess he like provoked her to like feel the need to pee. So we zoomed home because it was like 5 minutes away.
Well,
maybe.
She should have gone to the bathroom before.
She did. I fully told her. I'm like, hey, I don't know how you are or if you're like flexing or whatever, but you're probably going to get scared. And the way you are, you probably piss yourself. And so she went to the bathroom before we left.
Oh, maybe it wasn't like fully, like it wasn't done processing. And then it would finish processing.
She didn't fully load her piss. You know?
And then it got fully loaded during the walk.
She just recharged her piss right there.
Yeah.
Little 6-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
No, but what were we talking? We were talking about Halloween parties and all that. Then we started talking about a scare walk.
Just like the nostalgia of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, like I was saying, just like taking my sister out, doing all that fun stuff. It was like, it didn't give me the same feeling as like actually being a part of it and being able to enjoy it as a little kid. But it felt nice. It felt nice knowing that like we were giving these little kids because to me, I never got to do that kind of shit. I never went on scare walks. I never went out to like cornfields or whatever and got like attacked by a scarecrow or something. You know, I never went on all that crazy stuff because my parents were like, oh, we'll take you guys trick-or-treating. And that's it. That's all, you know, that's all they really did. They tried their best for sure, but they were always busy with work and stuff. And it's like, I never got to fully enjoy a holiday, you know? And being able to do that for my sister, that's like, it's a different kind of enjoyment for sure, you know? All right, for you guys, it was probably like 0.1 milliseconds. But for us, we actually took a quick like 3-minute pause because I just received something in the mail. So like I mentioned in the last podcast, I'm building a computer. And part of building a computer is not only having the components to make it, but having the tools to actually make it.
Having the energy to make it.
Oh my god!
With some monster.
You guys should probably hear it now, but this is a toolkit I bought specifically for computer building. So it's got all the little screws and stuff. It's also got like screen replacement stuff for phones. But yeah, and that just arrived here right now. It's pretty cool. It's like a little package with a screw. It's got a flexible.
Looks like a calculator.
Looks like a calculator. Oh fuck! It looks like it's got a flexible little neck. to get into the little nooks and crannies. I'm opening it up right now. Quick ASMR check.
That's good. Okay. A little bit of bubble wrap.
I'm gonna take off the wrap right now. Here's the wrap.
That's so much. Oh my god. And also a little bit of bubble. A little bit of bubble.
Here's some bubble wrap.
Ah! My neck. That's what it sounds like.
Ow! My neck is about to break.
Ah!
Dude, every time we like prep to what were we doing to film the podcast? Every time we prep, we always do a quick just like for you audiophiles who want to get into podcasting yourself. We always take a quick recording of just silence in the room, just so we can like noise reduce like the actual sound of the room, and that way the only thing that like the actual microphones are picking up is our voices as opposed to like the ambient noise in the room. And that's just like all post-production kind of shit. So it's my editing skills to take that out. But yeah, so we always talk into the microphones before we actually record. And every single time we get the mics, you're always like, hi, welcome to my ASMR.
Yeah.
You know, just doing
I don't do the mouth sound.
A bunch of random ASMR shit. And it's like, it's excessive, but it's very silly.
But I do something.
It's very funny. Stop. What's it called? But yeah, just an update on my computer. It's almost done. I've almost built it. I ordered the motherboard yesterday, so that should be coming tomorrow. And then I just need a graphics card. And the graphics card, I gotta wait a little bit to get it because it's about $350. That's expensive for those of you who are rich.
For those of our listeners who have a lot of money.
Multimillionaires.
That is a lot of money to us.
That is very expensive. But yeah, I'm just playing around with the little screwdriver set I got right now. The bendy neck for it's pretty sick. It's pretty gangster. Oh, update on that kid who got mad that I said gangster at school. I saw him. So I work at school.
No way.
Yeah, I work at school. Right?
There's a gangster at the front desk.
Yeah, right. There's a gangster, sir. Working the front desk. Are you guys aware you hired a gangster?
Are you aware you hired
the
notorious gangster of Bensonville? We're gonna bleep that out.
Don't know how to.
It'll happen.
We'll make it happen. So I work at school. Was that at 33 seconds? Something like that. So I work at school. And I work at a front desk. I just answer phones all day. This guy comes in. I guess he's got like summer classes starting in 2 days or something. And he's just like, hey, bro, like where do I get like a bike? Like, where can I rent a bike? Because we can rent bikes at the front desk. I'm like, oh, you just do that here? And he's like, oh, it's you. I'm like,
you should tell him. If you're a gangster, you can just steal it.
Yeah, if you're a real gangster would just steal it. No, but he's like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, who? Playing dumb because I obviously knew who the fuck he was, why he was like, oh, it's you, you know? But yeah, so I played it dumb, like, oh, who are you? And he's like, oh, no, you don't remember? You were like talking about like gang affiliation and all that over there. And I was like, what? And I told him, like, look, I honestly remember you. I just want to see what you would say. And I told him, I was like, I don't know what you meant by like, who do you think you are or where you came from when you said that to me? But I didn't appreciate it, this and this. And I just gave him a whole like little consultation about why that was really rude to me.
Yeah.
And how I looked past it because I fully don't believe he understands what he was saying.
Yeah.
Just a quick flashback. The kid came up to me after I said, see ya, gangster,
Yeah.
to my friend. And then, what's it called? He told me, he's like, I don't know where you came from or how it's like where you're from, but that's not cool here. As if I wasn't like, I found out you're younger than us.
A freshman.
Yeah. So he's a year younger than us. Well, technically not a freshman anymore. He's a year younger than us.
Not now. But.
And he came up to me and was acting like he was like from the school way longer than I was. You know, and he talked and like he's not even from the same state as us. You know, so like he
He
doesn't
definitely has some perceptions about maybe the Chicagoland area.
Yeah, I don't
how
know.
it might be like.
Long story short. So anyways, he's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that. And I was like, it's fine. It's just like, you know, especially like in a more liberal arts school, you know, just like looking out for you, but you got to be more careful with the way you talk to people. Because it's like, you go to anyone there, because I'm very passive. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, you should, like, in general, you shouldn't be talking to people like they're lesser than you.
Yeah.
But it's like, especially like in our school where like they, like the biggest thing that they focus on is respecting everyone no matter what they think or how they feel about specific topics. Whether it's like you're conservative, Republican, gay, straight, the whole shebang, you know? They just like the main focus is like you let people think what they want to think. Just the only power you have is over yourself, and that's more than enough power to help out your cause, you know? Which is true. Like without going too deep into it, like the only real person you can influence is yourself, you know? But I told them, I was like, yeah, it's just like not a smart thing to go up to someone, make very vague comments like that.
Yeah.
Saying, I don't know where you're from, but
yeah, like,
we
what
don't
does
do
that
that shit
mean?
here. Because that's very, like, you know, you exclude someone from a place they're supposed to feel safe at. You know, and I didn't care, you know. But be it like any other person, that kid would have been in so much trouble. And I told him, I was like, yeah, just like, look, for your best interests, put more like thought into what you're saying. And I told him, like, not only do I work for the school itself, so not only am I an employee of the school, I'm a student here too. Mm-hmm. So it's like, the school's going to do everything they can and be on my side versus just some kid who's just a regular student here. You know? Like I told him, I was like, I'm not any better than you because I work here, I go to school here, but I'm not any lesser than you because I said gangster to a friend.
Oh
you know?
God.
And he got very serious, like, oh, I'm so sorry, like this, and then he apologized, and I was like, and I told him, I was like, because you're apologizing, and it's not like one of those non-genuine type apologies, and I actually feel serious, and I actually feel like you understood what I'm saying. Like, I let it go before, and I was still gonna let go, but thank you. You know, and I laughed at him. I had a little conversation with him.
After that?
Yeah, I just talked to him. He wanted a bike, and I was like, yeah, so I'm in charge of the bikes here too. You know, double flex, triple flex. I go to school here, work here, and I'm in charge of the bikes.
You want a bike?
You want just a bike, it. Bro? Just ask me my gangsta. But what's it called? I told him, I was like, well, I am in charge of the bikes. I have no clue where they are. They're not at the usual racks that they're supposed to be at. So I can give you a key, and I can tell you where the key says the bike's supposed to be. But if it's not there, I have no fucking clue how to help you. And he's like, I feel that. And he was talking to me because I guess he works at like a grocery store.
Jewel.
Yeah, no, not Jewel. He works at like a family-owned kind of grocery store type shit. But yeah, he was talking to me. He's like, yeah, I have, despite like being there for like 3 years. Sorry, I just burped, guys. For 3 years, okay. I have almost no clue on how like any of that stuff works. I'm just a cashier, and I was like, all right, cool.
Any of what stuff works?
Just like I guess like putting stuff on shelves and shit and where to find it.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, I'm literally just at the cash register. I'm like, okay, I feel that. Yeah, he was chill, but I still don't forgive the fact that he was ignorant.
He was ignorant.
Ignorant shit. What's it called? But going on with ignorancy. We watched the show called When They See Us.
Yeah, When They See.
And like without actually giving away, because it's a relatively new show. It came out like this past week, within the last month. It's on Netflix. It's about a case for the Central Park 5, which for those of you who don't know, it tells a story. Well, the Central Park 5 are a group of 5 kids who were falsely accused of raping and assaulting a woman in Central Park in New York in April of 1989. And this whole documentary, it's technically a documentary. Is it expose?
No, because documentaries are all like real footage of what's happening right in front.
Yeah. So I guess it's a retelling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it follows their case from not only when the night it happened to with what they were doing, to their time in the courtroom, how all the evidence like quote unquote against them was piled up and like contorted, how they were coerced into making false confessions, their time in jail and the traumas they faced, and then it follows each one of them and their lives after leaving jail, and it's like not only is it very moving, it's very telling of how not only society is now, but society was back then.
Yeah, and it was 89.
1989.
1989.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Not 1889.
Oh, okay.
No, and
But-
what's really cool about it is that the director for it's called a limited series. I don't know what that means, but it's like
Probably just like
four
a shorter.
1 hour long episodes. It's like I guess it'll be taken down soon or something from Netflix. But the director of the series she was looking into the case itself and looking to make like what is it, an expose? I don't know what it's called specifically, but she was looking to make a show about something traumatic like that. And one of the kids from the Central Park 5, he himself reached out to her saying, hey, we just reached a settlement a few years ago, but despite that, it's still like the whole scenario is like so shitty, and I want people to know how the reality of like the U.S. legal system, whether it's back then or now. And like I feel like our story is a perfect example of like the intricacies and like how it can fail a group of people like nothing. And like obviously one of the biggest cases, most televised cases in the world. I don't know about the world. I'm pretty sure, though.
The country.
In the nation. One of the most televised and like exploited cases ever, in the history of the U.S. is a perfect example of how like the exploitation of the U.S. legal system works. And like no matter how you see the police and all them, whether you see them as the good guys or the bad guys, you can't deny the fact that they actually failed these 5 kids and ruined their lives.
Yeah.
And
it was
it's
a
like
really sad story.
Like I looked up online about how people like reacted to when they see us, and a lot of people are like, "Why would you believe this bullshit?" Like,
really?
Yeah, they're like, "You're believing a bunch of words of these rapists and sex offenders. Why would you believe their word over the Supreme Court?" And like, spoiler alert, for the movie, there was a very touching scene where the not the plaintiff. Is it the plaintiff? I don't know how court works, but the one of the defendant's dads. So one of the boys being prosecuted, their dad was talking about how because he went up to the little gavel thing, not the gavel, that's a hammer. He went up to be questioned in court, and the boys' lawyers were talking about how, oh yeah, everything, that you said, that you told your son before they took you away from him and started badgering him with a confession. What went on with that conversation? And the dad told the kid to lie, do whatever he can to just get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then was it the defense? Not the defense.
There's the defense and there's the prosecution.
There you go. The prosecuting lawyer who worked for the city or the state, because it was a state against them.
Yeah.
So the prosecuting attorney told them it's like, oh, so everything he said was a lie. And they're like, yeah. He's like, so then why do we have these confessions? Is that not their signatures, this and this? And they were like twisting the guy's words, obviously, to win the case.
Yeah.
And they said, and then what's it called? The prosecuting attorney told the dad, she's like, so why should we believe your kid despite the statement he signed off on? And the guy's like, because I told him to lie. You can trust his words, listen to his words, not what I told him to do. And she's like, well, funny enough, if you want us to trust his words, here are his words. We have these confession tapes from him. Those are his words. Mm-hmm. And then she just ends it off there.
Yeah.
And like, she twisted what the father said so that she can use it in her favor, which like any quote unquote good lawyer would do.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's fucked up because like they were just forcing a case to settle it. And a bunch of people were talking about that. They're like, why would you believe the words of these monsters? Why would you believe the words of these like criminals?
They keep calling them animals.
Why would you believe? Yeah, throughout the whole movie, you see like the extremities of what they would like refer to these little kids who did nothing, and they would call them animals, monsters, rapists, mm-hmm. this and this. And it was really heartbreaking to like see a bunch of kids who did nothing but have fun with their friends. Albeit they did like some of the people in the group did beat up hikers.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
It wasn't the smartest thing to go out with a group of boys that late at night and just abuse, like beat up people, even mm-hmm. though these kids were innocent and didn't take part in any of that.
Yeah.
But it's like
they didn't
this is a case of the wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. But yeah, going back to what I was saying. So, like, everyone who was against the show was like, why would you believe what these fucking monsters have to say? This and that. And then everyone who's like obviously in support of the movie and the reality that it brings was like, well, wasn't it like the U.S. court system that believed their word of mouth when they confessed? Why is their word of mouth any less valuable now that the truth's coming out and they're talking a different narrative? you know.
Yeah, and then like somebody in the show, I don't know what he was. He might have been another attorney or something. He was talking about, I forgot what the name of it, but there's a name for it. There's a technique that isn't, I don't believe it's used. They try not to use it anymore. It's a technique that like basically like forces
It starts with an E, I think. Yes.
confessions out of people, but and there's people who believe that no matter what, if you're not guilty, you would never admit to it, but that's not the reality.
You have these you have like 4 prepubescent boys and then 1 16-year-old kid who are all being forced to go days without eating, under constant stress, constantly being yelled at by these adults, not just adults, policemen, people in position of power. And you have these young little kids who've never been in that kind of trouble, all like stacked up against them, being abused not only physically but mentally. And you expect to you expect to believe that they just like admitted it on free will. Most of them without their parents.
Which
like
is
on
illegal.
top of that, which
A lot of
is
things that
illegal.
happened
They're
were
not allowed to
illegal.
be. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that the police was doing was really sketchy.
Yeah.
And then when this is a quick Google search. There's been movies about these people before, so it's not really a spoiler. But
And also it happened in real life.
yeah, it's a real thing that happened. It's not much of a spoiler. But eventually the person who actually assaulted the lady in the park did come forward. All of them were exonerated from their convictions and everything they were convicted of. So now their slate is clean, except for one of them, I think, because he got into more trouble with cocaine and parole and all that. I think the parole charge, that his violation of parole was dropped, but I think his cocaine dealing was still. I think it still stands because that's cocaine. That's different.
That's different, but when you think about it, he definitely wouldn't have gotten into that kind of trouble were it not
had he
for
been able to continue with his schooling and all that. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but regardless. But what were we talking about? Oh, I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I think the hardest part to watch was all the boys, especially Corey's experience in prison. So 4 of the boys went to a juvie
because they were
Corey,
under 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And I guess that
and
being 16 automatically enlists you in being trialed as an adult at that time, something like that.
Yeah, and it's strange that just like a simple year difference between somebody's age.
Not even years. One of the kids was 15. He was a few months younger than the 16-year-old. They were really close friends.
Yeah.
And the 16-year-old got thrown into
an actual adult
Rikers Island.
An adult penitentiary.
Not just an adult, Rikers Island.
Yeah, the bad one.
A crazy, high profile jail where a bunch of the most fucked up criminals go.
Yeah, and it was just really hard to watch your experience. Which I don't know if we'll get into detail with that, but probably not. But it's really hard to watch.
And it's the whole time you just get really aggravated with how these kids were being treated, or rather mistreated.
Yeah.
And it's the case itself is already fucked. In and of itself, it's a messed up scenario. But to see a visual representation of their retelling, it's just it makes it more emotional and more impactful.
Yeah.
And all of this happened 10 years before we were even born.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
wasn't too long ago though.
No, it was within the past 30 years.
It was only 9 years before. It was 9 years before
30 years ago.
Born.
It was in 89. We are currently in 2019.
Yes.
So it's a 30-year difference between all of this happening.
Yeah.
It was just the way the limited series was depicted and all that. It was really, not only was it visually enticing, it was just the story really captivated you while watching it. I really recommend it. When They See Us.
Yeah.
Is what it's called on Netflix. And it's just they just really captured the tragedy of the whole scenario really well.
And then after watching all that, then you go and wonder, what about this prosecution attorney gal? What's her deal? Did she ever get punished?
Like I was saying, eventually the rapist did come forward. They did pin it to him. He did say he was all alone. He proved everything that what happened in court was wrong, and that he was not only a solo criminal, he proved that the kids didn't actually like do anything, you know. But because like the prosecution doesn't want their reputations ruined, because it's such a high profile case, they'd look like a bunch of clowns ruining the lives of five kids, you know. And like they did everything they could to like make it seem like, oh, this guy wasn't working alone, these five aren't free. He might have DNA evidence there, and he might be the only one linked to the actual crime, but that's because he was a sixth person.
Let's throw these kids in here.
Yeah, like let's continue ruining their lives just to save our reputations. And there was multiple points in time, there were multiple points in the show them itself where they were like delving into like to like how the prosecution itself didn't really care about the kids. They had a white victim, they had a hardcore case, and they were the ones put up with a task of actually like solving it. So like all those three things, like for them meant we need a fast solution, and we need it now. We need these people knowing that they're safe, you know, quote unquote safe in Central Park.
Yeah, you know what makes me think though? It makes me think that as long as the like, I feel like almost anybody, if you're in the wrong place, wrong time, if you just happen to be in the wrong place, wrong time, I feel like if the state has a really good attorney, I feel like that could happen to anyone. I mean, there are 5 black kids, so I mean.
And it's like the worst part is like people want to ignore it and say it's not a racial issue, but when you have people like Brock Turner, who was not only caught in the middle of a rape, like he was raping a woman who was unconscious, and they have 2 people who testified in court, 2 eyewitnesses who caught him in the act. He got like a light sentence compared to, I think the max he did was like 3 years.
The boys,
they got the lowest one got out after 6 years.
Yeah.
That was the lightest sentence. 6 years. You know, when you have all these boys being like criminalized for something they didn't do and getting this crazy amount of time versus with no proof against them, literally all the evidence says otherwise, and they can't like pinpoint them into the scenario to where even all their stories contradict each other and don't match up. And then you have someone like Brock Turner, who was caught in the act, get less time than them. Then you know it's like it's not about the case itself. It's not about what they did to the person.
Yeah, it was also the situation of all the elevated crime during that year, all that stuff. But it makes me think of what the because the Central Park jogger, she survived. She had a lot of injuries that lasted, that like aren't irreversible. But I'm really curious as to what she thinks of what she makes of all this scenario.
Now. Yeah, where it's like, because they didn't really they talked about the case itself and like the victim of it, but they didn't talk about her aftermath. So they concluded it, you know, with the boys and everything, without giving away the end of the series. But they didn't delve into the woman herself who was assaulted, you know, who was raped. She they didn't really talk about her, the aftermath for her, how she went on with life. And I'm assuming like they might have made an effort to talk to her, but it's like, if you're going through something that traumatic, would you like? I feel like I'd find it really very hard to talk about something like that, especially after years of leaving it behind. You know, it'd be like incredibly difficult to go back to that. And like, it could be that they didn't try to talk to her, or that she's just like wanted to leave it behind her, because like there was a whole trouble with the first trials against the boys, the Central Park 5. But then there was a matter of not only 10 years after that, after they went to jail, the actual rapist comes up, and now she has to rethink of that kind of like everything that happened to her, and now she sees the actual face of the person who attacked her, you know. So I'm assuming that's even more trauma on top of what she's already had to deal with. So like then after that, the trials against the state again with the boys. So now she has to think about how her case got them incarcerated, whether or not, like, even though she didn't have anything to do with it. And then now this comes out. So it's like she's constantly reliving the trauma.
Yeah, but even then, she was an eyewitness. I don't know if an eyewitness. No, never mind. I thought that she was actually alongside the state, but I don't believe she was. She was just a witness. She was just not a witness.
So
but she was
technically, the
just
state
put on
was
the stand.
defending her, but like she would have had to like have her own trial against the boys, because the state was just they were prosecuting
I think it was
them.
just the crime.
Yeah, it was the crime itself. It was deciding whether or not they would see any jail time and how much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like for her, it'd be really hard to constantly relive this despite trying to grow past it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm not surprised that she might have not been in the series, but it's definitely interesting to see how like her take on it. It would be definitely interesting to see how she feels about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know, the show in and of itself was really crazy. Definitely would recommend like watching it. Yeah. You want anything before we end off? Just like make it a later note. How's the progress with the new layout for the podcast?
It's been put on pause.
2 lines. That's what the pause sign looks like. Why? You're busy, right? You're starting up your school stuff now.
Weekend is busy. But hopefully I can work on it.
What's the timeline looking for that? Do you know like how long it would take to make the new look? The new
I don't know, but that's gonna be a behind the scenes thing. So
silent moves. That's well, I'm excited for it. It's definitely like I've seen little tidbits of what you're working on yourself. Looks very interesting. Looks very fresh, funky, fresh.
Gangster.
Very gangster. Very gangster. I don't know where you're from, but we don't say that around here, brother.
Well, that's pretty gangster.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. Probably by the end of the summer, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, brother. Oh yeah. Yeah. But anyways, so as a heavier kind of podcast, very, very dark. I feel like, but you got to talk about these issues. Anyways, so this is episode 8, I think, of the Big Kids podcast. This has been your co-host D Money and
Julia,
and we'll see you guys for the next episode on Wednesday. Have a fantastic week, beginning of the week, because it's the end of the weekend now. All right, bye.